by the way, mimi ni mtu ya one time yes, lakini mimi ni mtu ya Ruto must go. There's already a disconnect. Jubilee, our presidential candidate nimekuwa nikisema ni Matiang'i. Wengine wamekasirishwa na hayo, hata wale wako opposition. Now you see the problem with dishonesty, it's like virginity, you lose it once.
Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to Checkmate on Hot 96. Remember, when it is Sunday at 7 p.m., it's time for politics. And today we are going to have a very special guest, the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party, Jeremiah Kioni, who is already in the house to give us some of the updates about what the week has been and what his reflections for the week that is coming are going to be. There's been a lot that has been happening. There's been a lot of tear gassing of members of parliament, people allied to the DCP party. GenZs are listening, the country is listening, because this is a premier political show.
Asante. Na tunafurahi kwa sababu hili jambo la GenZ mnaweza lishukulia kama ni wengine kanaona wanasiasa including William analichukua kama ni jambo litapita. Haripiti hii hawa ni wa Kenya. These are the ones you are going to deal with now. Ni vizuri wale ambao wako bungeni, wale ambao wako Senate, popote ulipo ujue kwamba that is now the Kenya you have to manage, and without them is you don't have a country.
Correct.
Na mimi nimekuwa nikisema tangu 25th of June last year, mimi siasa yangu nianza kuifurahia kwa sababu niona kumbe kuna wengine ambao wako na joto zaidi na wako tayari kuendesha kufika pahali wengine wetu wamefikisha. Hata hii ligiji hata hiki aibu dogo ya nini?
So
na kwa sababu wewe ni mtu ya NAS, mimi ni mtu ya huko.
Nani wanaes?
Wewe si kwa sababu wewe ni wa huko.
Mimi si wa NAS.
Iko namna hiyo, mimi na wewe tuko pamoja basi.
So the former deputy president said you are part of the NIS. You're there to get information from them and feed to the government.
No, I think
what do you say about that?
That's an irresponsible statement. For the reason that he was in government when we were fighting kufaa sufuria juzi. Unakumbuka tulitengeneza hii kitu tulikuwa tunaenda huko Lemuru. Na tukasema Lemuru 3. Na hapo ndio tulianza kusema Ruto must go. Na tukaanza kufa dereva, kufa makaga. Sasa sijui kama ligiji hajanisamea kwa sababu nilikuwa nasema kufa makanga. Kwa sababu kila wakati ananichongoa. Sijui ni kwa nini ananifanya kama mimi ndio kazi mzito kwake. Na kazi ile mzito tuko nayo ni ya William, si yangu. If he has any doubts about like, you know, he is a truthful man.
How so?
And when you are a truthful man, you also need to be honest. Because you cannot be a dishonest man and then you say you are a truthful man.
How is Gachagua dishonest?
Sababu yeye mwenyewe alikuwa kwa serikali. Si atoe ushahidi ya kuoneshana walikuwa wananilipa walipokuwa na Naruto kwa NIS. Na pia
alimanisha NIS ama NYS, which is
ni gani anasema, lakini nafikiri anasema NIS. Najua Y na I inasubua watu ya mlima, watu ya Machakos kidogo. Na mimi nafikiri alikuwa anasema NIS. Kama anasema NYS, basi hiyo NYS tulikuwa kwa 1984 wakati tulikuwa tumepelekwa na Moi tena kwa nguvu. Sababu alikuwa anaona sisi ndio tutamletea shida. Wakati hiyo ndio tulikuwa GenZ. Na tulipokuja hapa university tulimletea shida. Kwa hivyo hii safari ni safari tumeipitia. Mtu kusema juzi alipokuwa sijui kwa hii station ama alikuwa wapi. Alikuwa Kameme. Kwa Kikuyu saa hiyo alisema ya kwamba mimi napokea pesa kwa Ruto Friday, na kama si Friday ati watu wangu wanaendea Tuesday. You see, you must give Rigathi credit for something.
Okay.
Akianza kuongea maneno, anaongea kama ni ukweli. Mpaka anasema he is a truthful man. And when you sit and know that it is not true at all, then you start understanding the character of the gentleman. So, however, ile kitu ya muhimu zaidi sio yale mambo ambayo tunayasema ambayo haifai. Ni mambo ya kuwa sisi tukae pamoja, tuhakikishe ya kwamba hata kama haunipendi na usikupendi, tujue kazi tuliyoko nayo ya kungoa wale walioko serikalini mamlakani isije ikafunikwa na mambo mengine. Na si mambo ya harusi tu kwenda kuana huko. Tumekwenda pale kwa sababu ya shida wa Kenya. Mimi sijaenda huko kwa sababu ya shida yangu.
Okay.
I have no personal grudge with William. Mine is a grudge against the issues that are facing Kenyans. and I want us wale ambao wako opposition tuondoe makasiriko personal. Weka makasiriko ya mambo ambayo inawakela. If you listen to Matiang'i yesterday kule London, this yesterday or this morning, zingine nategemea wasaa uliamka. Lakini ni jana huko kwa wengine. Mimi nimeamka nimechelewa kidogo, kwa hivyo naweza sema ni jana na hiyo ni leo. Na uangalie yale wa Munyora alisema kule nimesema kwa Seattle. Ukiangalia haya mambo, you will then start seeing where are we going, who can help us. Ligi will help us a lot kubomoa William. But where we are going, if you want to know where you are going, you listen to Matiang'i. He had a lot of what we need to do going into the future. Kwa hivyo hii mambo yote iko, na that's why you form a team. Na mimi sisemi ya kwamba kwa sababu alitangaza pia nataka kunani. Sisemi ya kwamba hafai, sisemi ya kwamba Kalonzo hafai. Ninasema ya kwamba Wakenya wenyewe wasikize haya maneno. As we go on, every one of us will be assigned a responsibility which we are going to carry. Hii ingine ya kusema ati sisi tunaokota pesa state then at dishonest level ambayo haifai. Now you see the problem with dishonesty, it's like virginity, you lose it once. You cannot keep if you tell a lie once, you don't tell me that you are going to again tell a truth pale na nianze kukuamini. Hiyo maneno inakuwa namna hiyo, dunia iko namna hiyo. Lakini mimi nafurahia kwa sababu hiyo opposition tutaanza kuchagamkia, kila mtu tunachagamikiana sisi wote, kila mmoja wetu.
Inakuja mzuri. It's like you people are not speaking with the same
language. Yeah. It is going to be that way for a couple of time, maybe for a while. Lakini ni vizuri juu ya kwamba we belong to different political parties. Sasa tunakubaliana sisi, nenda uuze chama chako, tutakuja tukutane. Sasa hii nimeona DCP walikuwa Subukia. Sisi Jubilee tumekuwa Nyandarua for 2 days. Next week in another county. There will be another county. Ni vizuri tuuze vyama vyetu. Yes? Na after that we then sit and make sure that this opposition continues gelling. Unfortunately kwa siasa haina ile mnaita nini? Team building. Si mnaenda team building. Sisi kwa siasa haina, unaruka tu ndani kama cattle dip. Na unaanza either umwage ni kupe ama kama ni kali sana utembee nazo kwa muda. Na kuna watu wengine unaweza kuta bado kupe haijatoka kwa gosi. You know. Nani wewe? Mimi sijasema mtu.
Are you referring to the former DP?
No. Hapana weka vitina. Si unaona hata nani juzi amekuja tena. Naona amechomoka huku. Sijui amechomoka ama mguu moja iko huku.
Nani?
Huyu MK.
You know him better. He actually put up a post at some point saying it could be the next successor. When
you see somebody calling a poster of that nature, it means that there is something useful you are doing. Yes.
Okay. So is there any working arrangement that you have with Moses Kuria?
Moses Kuria, we have not even talked for a long time.
So where did he pick the poster from?
Lakini ananiona kwa TV, hata saa hii sinaniona. Anaweza toa poster ingine leo jioni. Yeah.
So you're not in any communication?
No, you're not working. But that doesn't mean that we are fighting. You know, mimi watu wengi unaweza sikia wakisema Kioni, Ronde Ranger. Ilikuwa niwe Ronde Ranger kwa sababu nilikuwa napigania chama peke yangu. Wakati hiyo watu kila mtu alikuwa ananiangalia akifikiria tutachindwa. Yes, now that we have succeeded, many people have interest in the party. But it doesn't mean that once you come in and join the party, we take you on, you know, plus the bit. It's not a bait. We don't want to. We have to be careful because we know where we are going.
Okay.
And that is why I'm saying, like, for example, kwa sababu sitaki nisahau hili. Ukiniuliza mimi katika Jubilee, our presidential candidate nimekuwa nikisema ni Matiang'i. Wengine wamekasirishwa na hayo, hata wale wako opposition.
Including Matiang'i hajasema ni candidate wenu.
Alisema wewe hata
we'll get to that as
yeah, tutakuja kusema hata kama hajasema mimi ninasema.
Yes.
No, I'm still claiming him. He is not claiming him.
Yes.
Na kuna wale ambao wako kwa opposition hawataki. In fact, somebody asked me, wewe mjinga, siasa mjinga kiasi gani wewe? Unamtagaza mwingine kama rais, kwa nini usijitagaze? Lakini I think it is important to see where are we as a country. Now who is this you think can give us some better form of direction or management of our economy?
Okay. People are terming you a lone ranger. And I think you have been to some point, because I've been attending these press conferences, loyal opposition, and you're never there.
Could be almost heading to have a year.
Half a year since you were together with the opposition.
Since I went for a joint pleasure, and it is not. It's not. One is that I think Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is the one who invites people. Whenever you invite me and I have the notice, I'll go there. But two is like we had. I've said before, it is important that people develop their parties and make sure that you have a party that can be able to deliver. Remember, Jubilee is not a small party. A party with 7,110,526 members is not a small party. Jubilee has led this country for 10 years, and it has a good track record. And we've been in this country 10 years, and we have a track record everywhere we go in this country. One of the joyful things, and I thank Uhuru for that leadership and that he gave us in Jubilee and as a country. Any ward, forget about any ward you step in today in this country. I don't know whether they're 1,500 and something.
1,450.
450.
Yes.
Go there and I'll show you something that was done by Jubilee. So even as we campaign round the country, this is a party that has a track record. You are looking at a national party. Has leaders from across the country. So we needed to make sure that we have managed our affairs. We are back on track before we are able to also come to the stage and join others.
Since you joined government, through the three CSs,
there is
K,
let me tell you,
Kabogo,
there is a broad-based government, Yaraira. Yes, and we have opposition that is also now broad, kwa sababu unaona kila mtu ako ndani yake. I have not joined government. I have no intentions of
your party did,
and our party did not. I told you
but
that
you had
in many of the meetings I called you, I did tell you that, and I even, like you have mentioned Kabogo, mkubwa ajibebe, naye alijibeba akaingia huko. Sasa wewe unaweka kwa Jubilee. But the party is a big party. So I really don't, I'm not surprised when everybody thinks that all these people belong to the big party, because it's a big family. But the truth be told, that we are not in government, we are not working in government, and we have no intentions, including the Conclave thing that Lyra is talking about. Conclave is a Catholic thing. I don't know what it is. Those things, we are not there, and our mind is very clear. We are focused on the candidature of Matiang'i, and we are focused on the unity of the opposition. And this is what I was saying before you interrupted me with a soft voice, but very harshly. Ile ukweli ni hii ya kwamba what I also want to see in this opposition meeting, maybe one of the things I can suggest now here, so that we become more orderly in these campaigns, when we are together jointly, and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is there. When he starts to speak, let him introduce his team. Digiji, who has now declared presidency, let him also introduce his DCP team, but he also needs to be the party leader of DCP. He is not. Ukiangalia kwa Kenya Gazette, jina yake haiko, and if you don't have it, I have it here. Haiko.
You mean Rigathi Gachagua is not the party leader of DCP?
Well, if he was,
it was gazetted. There was
yes,
a Gazette notice to that effect.
I can share the Kenya Gazette notice with you now, because it is here. He is not. We have only Deputy Marara. Hapo hakuna ingine, maneno ingine. Unaona hata nimekuletea news.
Hiyo ni news. Hebu tuambie tuelewe vizuri, because
hiyo ni news.
He launched the party.
He hasn't.
We have the party list of the officials.
He has opened an office, and he opened two. One this side.
So Gachagua is not the party leader.
He is not in the Kenya Gazette as a party leader
of
DCP.
I don't want to close the door on anyone. I want to have very comprehensive, inclusive, exhaustive discussions with everyone. Then we come together and work on a coalition. In any case, by the way, this game is first of all also persuading people to work together.
So he says he doesn't want to close any door for anybody. He's not a candidate of any party. That he has 8 requests of people begging him to run for office with their ticket. And you're saying he's your candidate. He looked open to opinions, ideas.
I think one of the things, what he really wanted to say, and I hate trying to clarify anything on behalf of other politicians or leaders. But what he was trying to say is the issue of trying to be as accommodative as possible in opposition, ensuring that you have a united opposition to deal with the government of the day. It is tidier that way, but it is not easy. In fact, it is one of the hiyo ndio kisugumkuti, kwa sababu wale ambao wako pale wote ni wale ambao kila mtu anajisikia kwamba ni wakati wangu, na kila mtu wako na sababu yake ya kusema ni mimi and not the other. And this is why I'm saying when it comes to that issue, in keeping with his desire, I do not think you can be able to bring a wider or a bigger opposition team than allowing Kenyans into that room. Remember, the Kenyans are more organized as opposition, as an opposition team than the opposition parties themselves. When they call themselves into protest today, they don't need a leader. How they do it, you don't know. Remember, mimi na wewe tulikuwa tunasukumana hapa kwa ile ilikuwa inaitwa Azimio. Na nilikuwa nakuona unapambana kweli kweli. Lakini ulikuwa unapambana ukiwa the better side. Si tulikuwa receiving. Na tulisukumwa, kusema ukweli tulisukumwa. But these guys are able to organize themselves. You can only arrest people arbitrarily. They don't have a leader. You can try and say it is this party that is organizing. Yes, and you cannot be able to prove it. I know there is now the issue of saying as DCP may have organized the previous demonstration. We are yet to see any evidence of that nature. So the Kenyans are more organized as an opposition unit than the opposition parties, even than the united opposition. Remember, and this is why I'm saying, when it then comes to picking their presidential candidate, if the opposition would want to field one, that room must have Kenyans themselves. How that happens, I don't know. But you cannot sit as leaders, including myself, na sisi wenyewe tukubaliane tukiwa watu wanane, tuseme ni wewe. We need the mandate of Kenyans. In any case, like I'm saying, it's Kenyans who know what they want out of the opposition they have today. What issues do they think can be addressed, and by who?
SG Narusha bites anyway. So why Matiang'i? What is this record that you have? Because actually, before you answer it, after the interview you did, there were people a bit saying that huyu tukimpatia anaweza tumaliza. There were comments like that on X because of the way he was speaking with a lot of bravado. Is it bravado or some force?
Kama hujamalizika na Ruto, wasiwe sijui ni nani. Yaki ya Mungu ukisema ati kuna mtu mwingine anaweza sukuma wewe kuliko vile tumesukumwa na William, wewe ni Mkenya ajabu. Na kuna vijana waliiba 1960 something. Kenya ni nchi ya ajabu. Wewe utakuwa umeingia kwa hii watu ya nchi ya ajabu if you can start saying those things. But I think what Kenyans were saying is that this is a tough man. But Kenyans are looking for a tough manager. And this country to be turned around, I want to say it again, haitaki mtu ya mchezo. Haitaki mtu anakuja kukaa juu ya gari throughout. Tunataka mtu atakaa kwa office, and when he says we go this way, we go this way. Remember, you may not know this, I talked about our education system 2008. One on the floor of the house, it's in the Hansard. I was told good ideas whose time has not come. That's what I was told. That's how whatever I was saying was dismissed. When we suggested changes in the examinations system, I remember one of the leaders of Kenya National Examination Council, during the release of exams, akisema na mwambie huyo Kioni aendelee na ile anajua. Examinations have a professional person. When he comes in, he says, I want the results released. We are not going to have this cheating in the exams. And changes came in the education sector. Tuwe kila gari ipakwe rangi ya yellow, wacha kuingia gari ya watoto ovyo ovyo, and even their accident reduced. If we was able to turn an institution that was rotten for more than 50 years, since 1963, by having sat there within a year, this is a gentleman you can charge with. You can charge him with the management of this country.
So there's a question from TikTok. Hapo ndio watu wengi wanaangalia. Yes. Ask him why we should believe in Matiang'i and not give GenZs a chance to get to the next government. Mbona tusikuwe na candidate mwenye ni Gen Z for president?
Gen Z will have to front a candidate, because again that is why we removed the age limit. You remember before 2010 constitution, you could not fight for the presidency if you are not attained the age of 35. We reduced this to the age of 18, so that nobody should ever say I was locked out. So that candidature of Gen Z must be seen and evaluated. Number one. Number two is, I want to encourage the young people that they must continue clamoring for these positions. They must fight for them. They must get in and get into the system. But remember, it's rarely that somebody from the outside is ever able to change a system that is so deep in a culture that is not good. When Kibaki came, he changed very many things. When Uhuru came, he changed many things. But you need to even know what to change and how to change it for you to become a relevant person in leadership. We have outsiders who come into the system like Trump. Trump, during his first term, if you see how he is managing his second term and how he managed those are two people. And he says, because he's been asked those questions by the journalists on the other side, he says, now when I was coming for the second time, I knew, one, I knew how to pick leaders, two, I knew how to even talk with them, and three, I knew what to expect from them, and four, I knew how the system works and how it can frustrate him. And to demonstrate the same, in his 7 months now, maybe 6-7 months since he was elected or took office, he has had 94 injunctions against executive orders or performances. 94. But he knew what to do. Instead of ranting like he was doing his first term, he hits the courts. And he knows that the only place he's going to get a favorable decision, and the one that would help you, is the Supreme Court. Yeah. So he concentrates on taking the hold, and within a short while, he's gotten some 4, 5, 6 judgments that have really made nonsense of the 94 injunctions.
Okay.
So a little bit of knowledge of where you are going is necessary.
So it's important to have an in-person.
We want the Gen Z, and that's why as a party, we are keen on having them, because there are very many leaders in Gen Z who needs to be taken into political parties and given an opportunity to start growing and becoming the leaders that we want in this country.
Okay.
There should be many, more than any other group in parliament, so that whoever is in State House, they are able to keep him or her on his toes, and on issues that relate to that generation.
Okay.
I was in parliament when we had a youthful team, and there was a clamor for youth must go to parliament. The majority of the young people in parliament when I was there
in 2008 to 2013,
just the other day, up to 2022. But in terms of performance and generation of bills or informing policies, zero. Gen Z, na waomba mukifika kule msiwe kama wao ndio walifanya muwawe last year 2025. We still have a very youthful parliament. Please go there, remain faithful to what you fought for, what Rex Masai died for. Don't betray them by joining those who are part of the eating.
Okay. Lastly, SG, the IBC is in place. We have by-elections coming in, I think, towards the end of the year. And we just want to know, is Jubilee fielding candidates? Because we have 23
the intention of Jubilee Party is to field candidates in every of the positions. That is the intention and the position we hold now. The final decisions will certainly be made as we go on, because there will be very many factors that will have to be put in place. We want to see how is IBC going to conduct itself around those issues. So, by-elections are not a simple thing. It is an expensive exercise. I saw in the print media, maybe also was there in the electronic and maybe in TikTok, people saying these by-elections would define 2027. My feeling, far from it. These by-elections have been put together by fate of mismanagement of the affairs of IEBC. So they are not likely to define 2027. Remember, 2027, people have a lot of things that they are going to look at. these by-elections are likely to cost a lot of money. And
IBC says about 1 billion shillings.
At 1 billion shillings.
Yeah, about
so
that.
Then you can imagine, for if the IBC is spending $1 billion, how much do you need to spend as a party to win that seat? That financial muscle will have a heavy bearing on the outcome of the by-elections. It will be different 2027. By the way, mimi ni mtu ya one time, yes, lakini mimi ni mtu ya Ruto must go. There's already a disconnect. If you allow me to close with this. The Kenyans who come to the street, they come to the streets to say, we are fed up with this system. Can it be removed now? We in the opposition are saying one term. One term is a constitution provision, which means we are comfortable by waiting for 2027. That was never the first clarion call. And if you see, since we jump into the one term, which I'm not fighting, William is comfortable. He is certain that nobody is disturbing me until the end of my term. Na ndio nauliza, what is this? What's wrong with being one term? It's there in the constitution. But the Kenyans, including when we are saying kuva dereva kuma makaga, it was now. And when you see people coming to protest, it is now. They don't protest for you to be removed a day after. It's then. That's why they keep saying we are going to State House. That disconnect is playing out. I saw it when you were at the burial of that young girl. I saw the population speaking a different language from that which is in the opposition. You may think I say this because I like Matiang'i. When we got into the tent of yet another young man who was being mourned because he was also shot the same day, the speech he gave under that tent captured the minds of the people who were there. He was able to talk the same language with the people. Look for that speech.
So you're saying Ruto must go, not one term?
Ruto must go. People are saying one term because they think it is the same thing as saying Ruto must go. I believe in the one term thing if it is a question of Ruto going now. Lakini kama wewe ulikuja kutupanga tumpe mpaka 2027, haki ya Mungu basi umesucceed.
About your party leader, Uhuru Kenyatta. 2 days ago, he met some ambassadors at his residence. 6 days ago, he was sending a message. He was talking about the passing on of Nigerian president who passed on, Muhammadu Buhari, I guess. And then he's been active. Where is he?
He is a free Kenyan. If you want to visit him, you go and visit him. Kama uko na nafasi ya kwenda kwake na uko na ujumbe fulani, tembea kule. Lakini uwe na ujumbe ambaye iko na maana. And ambassadors who want to visit former heads of states, if another former head of state or another person he knows passes on, you expect him to say pole, hiyo ni kawaida. Na yuko hapa, ukiako mara yako kwa chamba pande hii, yako hapa town, anakula mali yake, anakula chakula yake kidogo. So I'm sure he is happy. He's a relaxed person. Every time I see him, I see a relaxed person. But of course, a very worried person by the direction the country is taking. As a Kenyan, he has that concern. And more so when young people are killed. Remember before he left the office in Mombasa. I remember he said something in Mombasa, kasema, hawa vijana musipofikiria mambo yao mutakuwa na shida. That was about 3 months before he left office. So he was fully aware of how heavy the responsibility of managing the country with a youthful population that is unemployed was. And it does not. I remember also when one day we went to his kule kumwambia, wewe tunaambia kuje utembee uko nje uoge na watu. And he was asking us, how do you think I'll balance the affairs of this country if I kaa kwa juu ya gari throughout? Seeing what? Sinyi ndio mnatangatanga huko mkiongea uongo. Endeleni. Lakini for me, I'm going to manage the affairs of this country until the day I leave. Then I'll hand over. And I want to assure you, if a person is the person who takes over, that time it was not even clear who was going to win. But he said whoever takes over, akileta mchezo kwa hapa hii kwa ofisi, hii Kenya watu watakuwa na shida, and we have already gotten into those shindas.
Okay, so in February 2022 he said my deputy is unfit to rule. It was a big headline. Does he still maintain the same position?
His need, again, as I talked about, the cost of living. You need to care about the people. Even however hard the economy is, you cannot afford to ignore the need for social support to the populace. Remember, he had all these programs when we were under COVID. And COVID was a horrible thing. It brought down very many governments. But he still managed to pay school fees. He managed to have Inua Jamii, Rida Kina Mama. We had all these subsidies. When they came to office, including kazi kwa vijana, they came to office and said, stupid economists, there's nothing in subsidies, blah 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 blah, all those things. Hata tuliona wakibeba pesa na chopa kutoka OP na kupeleka chopa ya polisi. Mpaka wa leo we are waiting to know who and how much. All these things worry him. Na lile mzito ni uongo. Asubuhi uongo, saa 6 uongo, mambo kama hayo. You don't need to lie to manage the affairs of the country. Let people know the difficulties that we have as a country and use what we have. Na njia ambao hata wenyewe. You remember that time when his term was coming to an end. This whole brigade of UDA in its original format moved around this country, bad-mouthing anything he had done and saying nothing was achieved. Today, what they fear most is having the record that was achieved by Jubilee and the record that was achieved by UDA, defining the outcome of 2022.
Okay.
2027.
Okay.
2022.
All right. So when was the last time you were together with him?
With
Uhuru Kenyatta.
Sijui ni kwa nini unataka kufuatilia.
Tunataka kujua, ndio tu Wakenya ndio wanauliza, si mimi. Wananchi wanauliza. Wanataka kujua
kuna wengine wanasema kila siku tumekuwa na yeye, naona wengine wameeta mpaka kwa mitandao wamekaa na Mama Gina, so siwezi ingia kwa hiyo.
Unajua sasa you are the only person who is closer to him that we can get.
Being with him, him is not a thing that you carry out. When it is important for us to be seen with him, isimuko pale na kamera.
Okay.